Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen and Jennifer and our daughter Amanda with Iowa Backyard Farmer. And we're here in the middle of September doing a very late season tomato tasting. What are we doing?
It's a tomato taste test. We've had tomatoes growing all summer long. They started to come in July. They were really heavy in August. We're in September now, and some of the plants we've pulled out because they were exhausted and done, all of our Determinate Romas. Some of them got diseased, and we pulled them out. Some of them we started late, and they're just coming on, and some of them have been going all summer long. And so let's start maybe with some of the things that you haven't seen. If you've seen any of our other tomato tasting videos, we've tasted a lot of things, but there's some things you haven't seen yet. Let's start with those.
Yeah, and many you haven't seen, but one of the things we do recognize is that tomatoes change flavor throughout the season. So stuff that tastes really good at the beginning of the season may taste really good at the end, or it might not.
And sometimes the size changes too. So as your plant gets spent, it's used all this energy, that fruit size goes down, and we've noticed some of that, and we'll show you on which ones.
Yeah. Okay, where do you want to start?
So let's try this new one here on the corner to us. This was Love Gourmansun Sunrise, and it's an ox heart, and it's really pretty. And so you've got this yellow, and it's got a pink in the middle. It's really meaty. It is not super productive. This is the first one that we've been able to get off of this plant.
It was one of our later planted ones.
Yeah,
but as you said, this is the first tomato itself.
Yeah, so this is one we got from the store. If you're sitting at your garden thinking, how do tomatoes come on so early? We started with bigger plants for most of them. This was a small one. Started late. Thoughts?
The flavor is practically awful.
Amanda's not a fan. It's
bland for you.
Bland for you. I'm tasting some good tomato flavors, but compared to what we've tasted overall this summer, it's a tomato.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
It has the pink swirls, but it's a good tomato to eat. It hasn't been my most productive one.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Where do you want to go next?
Let's stay with the bigger tomatoes. This is one that's been grown for a long time, but it's new to me. This is Park's Whopper Improved. You might have seen this in a catalog or grown it before. It's kind of a bigger tomato. We have grown this in a pot, and I think the size is not as big as the name Whopper would suggest, but that could be something on our end. We've had a very busy summer, and some of our tomatoes have been neglected.
Yeah, compared to some others we've had this year, this one's kind of medium meaty. There are some fairly big seed cavities on it.
It has a more tomatoey flavor to it. So
definitely more acidic.
The Sunrise that we just had is a way more mild tomato. This has a tomato punch at the beginning.
Tastes kind of like bacon.
Amanda's tasting bacon. You might put this with a BLT.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's if you're looking for a more acidic type of tomato, that one is pretty good. Medium juicy, I would say.
It seems like a standard beefsteak to me.
Yeah.
But I like the flavor.
Okay.
I like the flavor. It is good. You'd eat that one with some bacon?
Yeah. And they put too much salt on
A little too much salt the first time?
Okay. Moving over from there is one, I don't think we've tried this one before, but it's popular. I gotta put my fork down because it's heavy enough I need 2 hands.
So this is Rutgers.
Rutgers,
what is the background on this one? Do you remember?
Well, I think it comes from New Jersey. It's been around for, I don't know, 50 or 70 years. Just really decent sized tomatoes. Not huge, but probably a nice slicer type of tomato is what I'm gonna think.
Yeah, it's a nice red tomato.
I like that flavor. It's good compared to the first one.
That is good eating.
Yeah, that's a really good flavor. It is much sweeter than the Park's Whopper Improved. I wouldn't put it down the acidic side. What would you?
Well, it's not a sweet tomato. It's a tomatoey tomato. But I think the flavor is smoother.
It is a much
really
smoother
nice
texture. The seed cavities are
about the same.
About the same. It's different in count, but I think the overall amount for the slice is about the same.
If you wanted just a nice big red tomato in your garden, that is a nice one. We haven't had any problems with it, other than it's been a little neglected during our busy summer.
What is your thoughts on that one, Amanda?
Is that
It's good. It's my favorite one so far.
Okay.
your favorite so far?
Yeah, I agree. I would pick that one out of the other two at this point.
All right, well, let's keep going with the big red tomatoes. It's sort of, you don't think there's going to be a lot of difference between things, and then I'm always surprised. This one is called Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, and so this one
is a newer
one. Is a newer one, really good disease resistance. Some really nice sized tomatoes on it. I mean, it was right next to the Rutgers, so they're probably a little bit bigger than the Rutgers.
Yep, they are bigger. I don't come into teeny pieces. Taste. There you go.
Big enough I can eat.
There you go. So Big Daddy. That one, you didn't leave me a piece. I want to say the Rutgers has a more rich flavor. This is pleasant, but not as
It tastes bland.
not as rich. It's a little bland for you.
Yeah,
it's a little just tomato.
It's a store-bought tomato is kind of how I would describe it.
Yeah,
it is okay.
It's better than that. But Rutgers has a richer flavor.
Yeah. If I was to choose from what we've eaten so far, I'd take Rutgers for the flavor.
Yeah, you're gonna keep eating those.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good enough for seconds.
Good enough for seconds.
8 seconds on all of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next
one up.
This one
gotta squeeze them out of here.
Squeeze them in. We're trying to squeeze in a lot of tomatoes today.
This one is called Blue Ribbon, and this was somebody had recommended this one as an extremely good tasting tomato.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And they're
beautiful.
Kind enough to send us some seeds and noted that they'd been saved. And I looked it up, and this is a hybrid, so I ended up buying some new seeds for it. But we have not tasted this one yet. So far, it looks fairly juicy from the slices.
It's a pretty shape and a consistent size. I like that. I have one with salt and one without salt.
I prefer tomatoes with salt. It tastes like a tomato.
It is. It doesn't taste like any of the others.
It doesn't. It's more mild for me.
You kind of put a little salt on that one. I don't normally like salt on tomatoes because I think they can stand on their own.
It's pretty. It's not outstanding for me. Of these red ones that we just tasted before, I think Rutgers has the best flavor.
Rutgers would win out of all those. Yeah.
Blue Ribbon's probably the prettiest presentation. But I like Rutgers better.
Yeah.
And Park's Whopper was really tasty too. Okay, let's go way old heirloom pink. And this one was late enough that it didn't make it into our video with all the other big pink heirlooms. So we'll have to use your brain to remember what this is.
This is Caspian Pink.
Caspian
Pink.
And
it is a beautiful pink tomato. We tried to grow it last year and went on vacation, came back, and the plant had died.
So it is.
And I don't know that it has anything to do with that plant because the plant that we planted in the exact same spot this year also died very early. So I think
there might be something wrong with that.
There might be something spot with that square foot.
Yeah. So this is really fine texture, nice and meaty.
I don't like it.
Amanda's not a fan. It has a very much stronger flavor.
Yeah.
You're not a fan?
Some people have claimed that it'll beat out Brandywine for flavor.
No.
It is not even in the same category. Not that it's bad, but it is nowhere near as sweet and smooth.
It is not as sweet. And the Brandywine is really smooth. If you don't like it, you're eating another piece.
Well, someone has to eat it.
It's good. I like Brandywine better. And what was our other one that we did? Brandy Boy? Or not, Big Brandy.
Big Brandy.
I think those had a smoother, nicer flavor when we tried them.
Let's not grow the Caspian Pink again.
I
I think it died for a reason.
That one's off Amanda's list. It's okay. I'm still holding on to Rutgers as my favorite so far.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the plant died for a reason.
So let's try one that we have tried in another video. This one is Orange Wellington.
Okay.
And this was one of our favorites. Everyone in my family
Two-handed.
likes the big orange ones.
We've been a fan of these. Just beautiful orange fruit.
Nice
Fairly-
and meaty.
Fairly meaty, relatively small seed cavities, and not a lot of seeds.
And this was way up there on our list early in the season. Let's see if it's still good. Cheers.
Again, it tastes like a tomato.
They all taste like a tomato to you. I think I'm tasting some differences because we've had some really cooler weather lately. And tomatoes tend to get a little more acidic for me at the end of the season.
It's not the
It's
best.
still good, but it's not the same as it was in the middle of August when it was 90 degrees and we had them hot. This was 50 degrees this morning, and it tastes a little sharper.
Yeah, it tastes fine. It's not as outstanding as it was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Where to next?
Okay, so let's do this one. Amanda's pointing to this one. This is kind of not a big beefy red, but kind of. This is a Determinate red, and we don't have a lot of them left. This is cream of the crop.
So it's a new variety. So this is our first time trying it. Seems fairly meaty. It's
Fun stripes.
Fun stripes. So yeah, cream of the crop. They've got some other really fabulous ones, and we'll try another one that I've been a fan of here in just a little bit.
Yeah, I like the stripes. It looks really meaty.
And my guess is they'll get a little bit bigger than that. Where we had it
was-
got a little bit of shade.
Yeah.
Looks juicy, but not watery from the slice.
Kind of like the Roma.
It's amazing how much little difference in flavor you can get. I kind of like that.
I like it.
It's a good flavor, but it's not one I would choose over in Tropical Sunset.
And you're still holding on to your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little tang to it.
I like the tang.
Yeah.
You know, Amanda keeps referencing Tropical Sunset. Tropical Sunset was bred by the same breeder. So could possibly have some of the same genetics in the background.
Yeah.
And
the stripes.
the stripes.
Mhm,
You're
the
a
stripes,
fan
yeah.
of stripes too. That one's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I would grow that one again.
Can I have another piece?
She wants another piece. I think that one's a winner. Go for it. You want to cut it? No, that's really fun.
It is, for a tomato that size, it is awfully meaty.
Yeah.
A lot
Well,
of times you get to the slicer size and you get a lot more maybe watery. This is not watery, but it is
it's got that
juicy.
beefy. And it's Determinate, right? So it's not one of my great big indeterminate ones if you're looking for a smaller plant.
And it is a small Determinate. It's not like a Determinate that'll still get 4 or 5 or 6 feet
it's
tall.
a pretty short little plant
Ours
out
didn't
there.
get even 3 feet tall, but producing well.
I like that.
So I'd
So
do that
this
again.
is almost a dwarf. Almost in there.
We stuck it with our other dwarfs. It was bigger than most of the dwarfs, but most of the dwarfs didn't get over maybe 2 feet tall. So
Okay, so that I'm a fan of
I'd
that
do
one.
that
That's
again.
our
That
first
was
two
good.
slicer.
okay,
Okay,
let's right next to it.
that's Hossinator.
Hossinator. So, and this is another Determinate.
Let's see if it-
Grows well in the deep south, and thought we would give it a try as well. It is a larger Determinate plant, and as I look through there, kind of medium-sized seed cavities,
Okay.
and I have no idea what it tastes like. So let's give it a
Yeah,
try.
we haven't tried this one yet. I'm gonna go on record and say it kind of tastes like a tomato. It doesn't
I
Yeah.
was gonna say.
It doesn't have the
it is a
richness
tomato.
of the beefy red that we just had. It doesn't have the intensity of the beefy red or even the richness of the Rutgers.
You could probably put it on a salad.
It has going for it those the genetics that are going to help it stay alive in adverse conditions.
Yeah. I don't like the skin. The skin looks
But
so
other
off.
than that, it's kind of plain.
It's
for me.
kind of watery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you want a plant that stays alive in the deep south where you can get a lot of humidity and a lot of disease, that's probably a good one.
It's a good one. It's not going to have
It's not going to win any taste tests.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's just kind of
All right. So here, pull that up here. This is 2 on 1 plate. So this is Bushsteak. Staying with our sort of shorter theme. This is one that we just kind of got at the store. It's a shorter Determinate.
And do you want to grab a Mountain Fresh from the same
And
plate?
yeah, I'll
We'll
grab
do
a
that in
Mountain
a second.
Fresh. So Bushsteak here, Mountain Fresh there.
Okay, so let's do Bushsteak first. As I compare the two of them, Bushsteak is way larger seed cavities.
Yeah.
Mountain Fresh looks a lot more meaty.
Okay.
This is the type of the tomato where all the seeds and guts will just fall out and you get no flavor.
It's a fair assessment. The seeds and guts fell out, and it's a little weak on flavor.
It tastes like a tomato, but sad.
It's a tomato that is sad. Okay.
Tomato that is sad. That's probably not my favorite one.
Yeah.
It's not a bad
Yeah.
one. If you wanted to grow one, you're going to still eat
that
it.
probably won't make our list again.
Okay, Mountain Fresh. What do you know about the Mountain series? Why do we like the Mountain series?
So generally the Mountain series, I believe they come out of the southeastern part of the United States. I'm going to say maybe one of the Carolinas. And because of their environment, they do need to have more disease resistance. We've generally been happy with them. We've got a couple of varieties that we really like.
Yeah.
But
I like that better.
I don't think I've ever had
It's
Mountain
very
Fresh
sweet.
by itself. We've had Mountain Fresh Plus before.
It's very sweet and I like that.
Mm-hmm. That one's actually really good.
That's a good flavor. I would eat that again.
I have the last piece.
So would Amanda.
So wait a minute. So Mountain Fresh is worthy of another slice.
You
Okay.
gonna try another one? Another bite? Okay.
So I'm gonna try it with a little salt. Do you have like just a pile of salt over there?
Kinda.
Okay.
Salt is good. And I love it.
A little more intense flavor, just a little deeper.
It has a little richness.
Pretty good, yeah.
I love it.
The texture is just fine. It is meaty enough that it doesn't fall apart
Yeah.
like the other one did.
It is growing a little smaller for us, but it is in a shadier spot. I think in a
It'll-
less shady spot, we would have had a lot of production off of that.
Yeah,
Kind of like
absolutely.
the Roma. I'm bringing that up again. It's one where it's not the juiciest and the organs don't fall out. So I would say this one would be good for like a taco or a salad or something that would involve like sliced chunks of tomatoes.
Yeah, a sliced chunk of tomato. This would be
Okay.
really good. Hey, hand me that last one down there on this row.
Okay, so this is a new one for us called RuBee Dawn, and we brought this in. I believe it's a dwarf Indeterminate, something like that. It's this nice Saladette tomato,
But it's a smaller plant.
and it is so it still gets 4 or 5 feet tall, but it doesn't get like 10 feet tall.
Like the ones we took out just recently because they were
Yeah.
blooming everywhere.
And so nice Saladette. It's probably the only Saladette one we've got on the table right
Today.
now.
Yep.
I would compare this to
Like
Mountain Magic for size.
it's a little bigger than Mountain Magic.
Maybe just a little bit bigger. This looks fairly seedy.
Yeah.
A lot more seeds than I was anticipating, but it is a smaller tomato, so that can happen.
No.
You go holding. You'll like it. That's actually pretty good. I'm not
That's
used to the Saladette tomatoes tasting like much.
It has a very deep flavor,
Mhm.
a more complex profile. That's pretty good. Better than I expected for that. Yeah.
It's pretty. It's productive. It's not cracking for me. It's ripening evenly. It's putting on a lot, and it's kind of a fun, smaller size.
Yeah, just a little bit bigger than the the Mountain Magic ones though.
Should
Yeah.
we move on to the smaller tomatoes?
You want to do some
And do the
smaller
smaller
tomatoes?
ones next. Okay.
These ones?
You want to do the paste tomatoes? So let's
Paste
ask,
tomatoes, like
if
the
you were
little-
going out into the garden and I said, go pick you a tomato, go pick me a tomato, which one are you going for? Usually.
La Roma 3.
La
They're
Roma 3.
long, they're not as juicy, and they stay together.
Yeah, so you like the
It's
Roma
less really
types.
easily.
And she is really good to come in when you're cooking. You're like, and it needs a bit of tomato. You're grabbing a Roma.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled out La Roma 3 and planted something else.
They were done.
They were done. They're determinate. They were done. But I have a lot of different Romas. And so I want to know if you can tell the difference between the different Romas and which one is now your favorite if we taste them all together.
Out of all the Romas?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
favorite tomato in general?
Out of all the Romas,
I'll call them out of all the paste types of tomatoes.
paste type tomatoes. This one is the Heirloom San Marzano.
San Marzano?
Yep.
We sold a lot of those this year.
Yep.
So San Marzano
And
is an heirloom. I laugh and say, well, it gets blossom end rot on the first truss of tomatoes every year, no matter what we do to it. But it keeps producing.
I put too much salt on that
And
one.
put too much salt on that one. And by comparison of my RuBee Dawn that we just tasted, it's a really mild
This
flavor.
is a very mild. It's mild.
It's just
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't call it bland. You can call it bland. That's fine.
It doesn't.
There's a significant lack of flavor.
It is bland. Okay, bland and
All right.
smooth. The texture is smoother.
It'll make a nice sauce.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to pick it because this is the best tasting tomato you've ever eaten.
This is what we usually make our pasta sauce out of.
Yes, it is what we make pasta sauce out of. And
Pasta sauce has no flavor.
at the end of the season here, we're doing pretty good. We haven't.
They've held their
They've
size better
held
than I
their
had
size.
expected.
One that I really liked all summer long is Pozzano. And they're
So-
kind of a little bit bigger by comparison. You may have picked some of these.
Yeah, so Pozzano, our thought was if we bring that one in, it would be a replacement for San Marzano.
Mm.
So let's see if flavor, production wise, I would completely agree.
Earlier in the season, San Marzano had kind of a sweeter, richer flavor. Let's see how Pozzano's holding up.
Even more bland.
They don't taste, when you're comparing them, when we compared all the paste tomatoes together, you kind of can tell the nuances better. My brain is still remembering some of these stronger flavors.
I'm going to finish off this with tomato.
I earlier in the season, I had thought that there was a huge difference in flavor between those two.
Right now,
And
there's not a big
right now,
difference.
there's nowhere near the difference, and so
It's still a nice meaty tomato. It's still producing for us.
Still bland.
It is not the flavor winner that you're going to get out of some of these other things. But most people aren't growing Aroma because they're like fantastic flavor.
yeah.
It is decent tomato flavor. Pretty good.
Yep.
But it
Okay.
is
Can we get a
bland by
better one
comparison.
now?
Okay, so let's maybe jump
Try
over
it
there.
for Supremo. Nope, next one down.
Yep, so let's do a Supremo, which is another determinate. We kind of compared that to La Roma 3.
Yeah, so this
It
would be
was, they were decent size. Here later in the season, they are smaller than they were early in the season, so they
And
haven't quite
They're
held
very
their size.
chunky.
and we're getting some problems with them now as they're progressively into the season. The fruit quality isn't quite as nice as it was earlier, and they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah, so we will be pulling those out probably this week. I don't know if we're going to put something back in that spot.
Yeah,
But,
see how
okay,
much
so let's
summer we have left.
see what we think of Supremo.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I hate it.
It's a different flavor than the others so far.
Yeah, it's got a little wateriness to it.
Yeah.
But you're like, compared to Amanda's favorite, you can't eat it yet. Cream of the crop, beefy red. It's not got tremendous flavor, but it is still producing. It was our first Roma type or paste type that came on this summer, and it is still going. So it gets points for that,
You can
and
hold on to it.
it gets points for keeping going and doing well.
Yep. Okay. So Not
You always pick these.
not
I think this
Amanda's
is funny.
late season favorite. Okay, let's move on to Zenzie.
Okay, so Zenzie is one that got the AAS winner for the Midwest, and it is still producing.
It's still producing. They're a little smaller
They're
than
a
they had
little
been
smaller
earlier.
than
But
they
it
were.
is a
They do look sad.
Well, that one's not right.
yeah, it is a dwarf indeterminate, and so it is still producing and still has a lot of tomatoes on it.
And it's not 10 feet tall. It's only
But it
like
only
6 feet tall.
Yeah, it got 5 to 6 feet tall is all. But nice
Maybe
and
7
meaty
feet tall.
looking. Oh, it's in a tall bed.
Yeah.
Very mild.
Mm-hmm. All the paste tomatoes are on the mild side. Are you rethinking your life choices now that you're like?
Where's the Roma 3?
The Roma 3 is all done.
Gone.
Okay.
So it's okay.
It's okay. It's aroma. It's not a flavor powerhouse.
Okay.
Tastes sad.
So moving on for one more tomato. What is it?
This is just Roma. This
just
isn't
Roma.
And I don't know
It's
which
better.
just Roma it is. I bought this at the grocery store, like a little start, and it just said Roma on it. And I don't know if that's Roma VF, if they've done some other variety.
This is not Roma VF.
It's bigger than a regular.
I can tell you from the fruit is not the same as the Roma VF that we've grown in the past.
When you're shopping and you're buying stuff, it doesn't always give you all the information you're looking for.
Cheers.
It's actually pretty good.
It's a little more zingy than the others. It has a flavor.
It has a flavor. It has a flavor.
It has more flavor, but not a good flavor.
So you're still salty about the aromas? Not.
Just like I'm trying it with salt.
It's good. It's okay.
Interesting.
Interesting. All right, so let's go to an heirloom variety that is totally different. This one is called German Strawberry, and it hasn't been our most productive winter, but it is the wildest shape. We'll show you a picture of how they're growing. Let's see if it has a flavor to match.
You should get a bowl to put the
Yeah.
syrups away.
Okay, so see what you think.
I'm not excited for this one.
You're worried about it?
It's pretty.
There's not the guts for that one.
The walls are very thick. The seed cavities are relatively.
There's
Well,
a
they're
lack
kind
of
of
seeds in this one.
there's a medium-sized cavities, but not a lot of seeds, so a lot of almost airspace in there. Super mild.
It has an underlying flavor that's not my favorite. Do you like that one?
I hate it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one's not as good as some of the others.
Okay, it's not productive and it's not very
good
tasty. So
at least not for us. Maybe in another place, another time.
Yeah. So Big Mama, another paste tomato we've grown in the past.
And it was bigger at the beginning of the season. They have shrunk down in size too, but maybe they've improved in texture. We tried it, and
say earlier in the season I was not nearly as big of a fan on the flavor as some of the others, but
give it a shot.
You never know. We've got some things out here that when we did the video, I thought those are not great, and I eat them now, and I think they're great.
They're pretty good.
And so, let's see what we think of this one today.
I don't trust
Yeah. Okay, Amanda has trust issues. This one has a more mealy texture and a thicker skin.
No.
I'll pass. There's a reason we dropped it from our list before.
Okay. I keep bringing that back because pretty pictures in January, and you're like,
and it is a really
fabulous,
really strong roots, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It withstands
blossom and
drought really well.
Okay.
I think we're down to for the paste tomatoes that we've got here.
You're out of water. Amanda's like, I'm done.
Be right back.
So, our last large paste tomato that we were going to try is SuperSauce.
And it is, San Marzano SuperSauce. It's quite a bit bigger.
Which of these do you want to peel to make a sauce?
Yeah, it's easier to work with the bigger tomatoes, and it is producing still really well for me.
It's an interesting one, and anybody who's watched our other videos knows that Burpee, who is the one who provides the seeds for that, call it a indeterminate, but it grows the height of a short determinate. And if you try to single string it like we would an indeterminate, it doesn't work.
I hate the skin on all the paste tomatoes.
The paste tomatoes are not meant to be eaten with the skin on.
But in terms of meatiness, for a tomato this size, incredibly meaty, extremely small seed cavities.
Yeah. If you want to eat a tomato, eat that one.
And today, for my best of Roma, this has the best flavor. This has best flavor. It's better than any of the others we tried right now.
It has a richness of flavor that none of the rest of the...
Including the San Marzano.
Yeah. Hands down, this would be the San Marzano.
Yeah.
So what is your thought on this one?
Is this one okay?
Every La Roma or paste tomato is bland. That's why I like La Roma 3.
All right. So she's holding on to her cherished memories of La Roma 3.
Okay.
That's a good one. Okay.
Well, I would
vote this one.
Still vote for that
in
one.
that category.
And even compared to the other big red ones, it's still going to pass.
Well,
I don't know about Rutgers, but it's...
You could make a really nice BLT. I did make a really nice BLT out of this last week because it's really, really meaty. Really meaty.
Meaty, yes. Flavor, no.
So Amanda's still holding on. Okay. So let's impress you with the one that I think is going to taste the worst, but looks really fun. Give me the stripy one.
Yeah. So the we don't know what category it falls into. It's called Striped Cavern because it is a stuffing tomato. It's one that has nice walls, but not much for insides. So
yeah. So it's really pretty. It's got the orange striping and the gold. It's got this fun lobe shape. It's not just rumpled at the top, it's rumpled all the way down.
It's rumpled in the center.
Amanda's like, there's nothing on the inside. So you would take this one and hollow out what little bit is in the middle, and you would stuff it. Let's see if it has any flavor. It was not recommended on flavor.
But I'm curious.
What is it recommended for then?
For stuffing.
You hollow it out and you fill it with cheese and sausage or something like that. And
I hate the skin.
It has a thicker skin. It would probably be really good stuffed and roasted. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay
fine.
Fresh. But you wouldn't really eat it because it's hollow on the inside.
The flavor's fine. I hate the skin.
Yeah,
it's a thicker skin.
It's a thicker skin.
Yep.
Okay,
well, it's kind of interesting. It's one that I wouldn't have normally thought about,
but if you like the stuffed tomato, that is a really pretty presentation, and it would be easy to hollow that out because it's almost hollow already.
Okay.
All right, let's finish off with Amanda's favorite category, which is the cherry tomatoes. We already told you that Tropical Sunset is her favorite for this year. We've had 38 varieties. We pulled out most of them because, one, they were on their way out, and I was overwhelmed, and
I needed a place to plant
other stuff. So this is what we have still going. So let's start down there in the corner with the orange one, the long one.
Sun Dipper. Yeah.
I got it.
Almost a two-hander. So
I know.
Sun Dipper is a new one to us, and it is a funky shape that
looks like a sunflower
is
almost.
Perfect for grabbing on one hand and dipping into, like, if you like ranch or some of that kind of sauce.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
So try Sun Dipper. We had bought this one at the store, and that was a smaller plant, so it's just barely getting into super production right now. You're not willing to take a risk on the whole piece?
No. My faith has been tested due to these tomatoes.
Sweet.
Sweeter, has a little bit of a thicker skin, which if you're going to be grabbing onto it, expecting to...
Yeah, it doesn't crack.
To, dip it in a sauce.
Is it on your favorite list?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
It's got a thicker skin.
It is an interesting flavor. I don't... It's not bad, but it's not my favorite. Not by itself, but I think for dipping like it's intended would probably be just fine. So let's go. Can you grab the next plate over? So these are a little out of my reach. So if you go to the one that's in the sun, I see the word sweet somewhere on it. Okay, so this one we've got some super sweet 100s and some sweet million. So here on this side is the super sweet 100. Still productive late in the season.
I think they're better in the height of August.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
A little warm on a cool morning. In the morning, they taste a little
That's
different.
Absolutely
Yeah, that is not the same flavor as earlier this year.
No, I cannot do that. That is disgusting.
It's still good. Let's try Sweet Million here on the other side. Let's try a little half. It's a different one.
It's untrustworthy.
You can do it. Yep.
Your skin.
Some sweet million. So these are both a smaller type of cherry tomato.
Oof.
I like the super sweet 100 better.
So I don't trust this anymore.
Super sweet 100 is holding the flavor better for me.
It's better. Sweet million I would pass on. Amanda's like, enough said. Okay.
Done.
Well, so sweet million is not, super sweet 100 has not held the flavor as well as
it's still good.
Some of the others.
It's still a nice cherry tomato.
Okay.
But I'm having memories of like mid-August when everything's like in its super prime.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
Amanda's like,
sweet million's not great.
All right, so let's do Candyland Red Currant. I get brought these all the time. They are probably the funnest tomato in my backyard to pick because they keep showing up in my house even if nobody wants to eat them. They're the best one to pick. They're tiny, little round tomatoes.
And they've held their size really well, which is tiny, but
and the flavor I think is actually improved. It's the only currant tomato that we still have growing.
Yeah, no.
Amanda's passing on it, but you pick a lot of them.
Because they're entertaining to pick.
They're entertaining to pick.
You can get like.
I think the flavor is okay. It is not as good as it was 2 months ago.
I think it's all right. It's got a thicker skin. It's got a smaller diameter, so you get more skin than you would on another thing.
Yeah. Okay, let's grab the next one over.
My nemesis. So this is one of the first cherry type tomatoes that we grew. And if you watched any of our other videos, you know that we have spent some effort trying to get really good tomatoes, and a lot of them are not here. This is the most trial-y of all the things we did. And yellow pear is very productive, very vigorous grower, and you get these beautiful, fun-shaped, pear-shaped tomatoes.
Let's just get it done and over with.
But in a taste test, here.
When in Rome.
That's a sweet. I got hit with a little bit of sweetness at the beginning, and then it was overpowered by blandness.
It's mealy. The texture is mealy, and there's a little bit of sweetness to it, but I don't like the texture of that one very much at all.
I also hate it.
Hey, do we want to try the other two that are on there?
Not right now.
Hold on to those later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 5 more.
Plates. Some of the plates have.
So
multiples.
let's talk about our grape tomatoes have held up pretty well this year. And so we've got just a few left. And this is Tammy grape. This is again one that I bought from the store.
I thought this was Napa grape.
Nope, this is Tammy grape. See if you can tell the difference.
I hate that with a burning passion.
Yeah.
So this one is not Amanda's favorite.
Not Amanda's favorite. I'm trying to figure out what I think of it.
It's not my favorite tropical sunflower. I would eat another one of these.
Okay. It's okay. I know that there's better ones out here.
Yeah, it's like, well, whatever, sure.
It's okay.
No.
So we're clear to the other side. Can you reach one?
I may have to get up for this one.
Yeah.
Haha, I shall beat you.
Haha.
Oh yeah. So we've got several different varieties on this one. So this is Sakura, which is a little red.
It's a little red one. It has held the size better than a lot of the other red cherries.
Little red ones are always disgusting. That's what I've learned.
I actually really like that.
Okay, now I'm concerned.
It's a brighter flavor than some of the others.
It's very chewy.
A little chewy. And its plant health is pretty good for late in the season. It's bigger than the Sweet Million and Super Sweet 100.
Well, it's about the same size as the Super Sweet 100. And flavor-wise, this one might have the edge today, but I know that I really like the Super Sweet 100 generally.
Yeah.
All right,
Nope,
there's
well,
more on
there's
there.
more?
There's more on this.
Two more.
So two more. This is Raspberry Drop, and I'm impressed with this one.
So Raspberry Drop was one that we were really liked at the beginning of the season.
And this is by the same
Gorgon.
person that did your Cream of the Crop Beefy Red. This is Cream of the Crop Raspberry Drop
And same as Tropical Sunset.
and Tropical Sunset. So
So-
you might like this
Better.
I
one.
liked it. It's held the size really well.
I still prefer Tropical Sunset. It tastes better than this.
Yeah, you're like I'm ignoring those. I like that. That's still good,
Still a decent flavor, yeah.
even late in the season. And then this other one, this is called Sun Peach. And this one has been very productive. We've had tons off of this one. It is a pink, like Raspberry Drop. I like the pinks.
It is smaller than Raspberry Drop.
It's lost a little of the size. Not doing it for you today. I think the flavor is a little better
flavor-
with warmer weather.
Yeah. So out of those, Raspberry Drop held the flavor the best.
Yeah. So for late season flavor, those two have done really well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Amanda, you're like, yeah, okay.
We're almost done. So you're going to make me get up and go walk all the way around.
Fling.
Knife safety, mother. Knife safety.
Baby. All right.
This is why you don't have a toast.
Okay. So we just got a couple of plates left. And this one, we've got two on. We've got Ruby Crush, which was one of our winners this last year for late season productivity, held its size, held its flavor, did really well as a smaller grape size of plant.
Yeah. I really liked this one last year. I was pulling off tomatoes clear to the end, and they were nice flavored. Because like I said, as the season progresses, sometimes that flavor changes with the weather and the water and everything. And it's still good.
Still tastes
No.
like the Ruby Crush.
Okay, and the other one, this is Sun Sugar.
Little bright little yellow ones.
And this one is super sweet, super fun. If you watched any of our cherry tomato taste test, you would know that this comes up pretty close to the top very frequently. It's still fruity, still sweet, still
Skin.
here.
There's a little more skin on it. Yeah.
Still a good cherry tomato.
Has a little zing on it.
Yeah. Okay, and our
You'll get
last
that?
one.
Not great.
Unless we're going to come back to Too Tasty.
Nope,
No.
it's not quite right. So you can try it if you want. Go for it.
Okay, let's do the Napa grape.
Okay, so this is Napa grape.
So Napa grape, we did a family taste test very early in the season, and it lost really bad. Was nobody's favorite for flavor,
I
and
don't
then in
like
the
it.
middle of the season, it was pretty good.
Pretty
Now
good.
it's awful. Again.
I don't like it as much as I like the Ruby Crush. And the flavor, the
No.
size on the Ruby Crush is bigger and it's more consistent.
Yeah.
So
Not a
put
fan of
back.
that today.
Okay. So the temperature makes a big difference. I think I liked all of those better in the warmth of August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's bring over the Too Tasty. I know you're trying to avoid those, but those are the ones that were actually ripe on the plant.
Okay.
So,
The two black ones. Right there in the
Too
middle.
Tasty is one from Burpee that is kind of the darker,
Anthocyanins.
higher
Star pattern
anthocyanin.
on the top.
And this is are these the first ones that we've harvested this
Oh
year?
no, we've done more than that.
Have we?
We taste tested these. These were good. They're really good. Go ahead. My knife fell on the floor. You can just taste it. Just pop it in.
It has a richness of flavor that I don't think anything else here has. There's a little thicker skin right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for a higher anthocyanin one, it's actually pretty good.
It is. That has won a lot of taste tests. We really like it in the height of summer. But right now, as we're going into cooler weather, I'm not feeling the same love for my cherry tomatoes that I did in the height of the summer.
No.
So across all of those smaller ones, Raspberry Drop I think held its flavor the best.
And Sun Sugar did pretty good too.
Sun Sugar did all right.
Sorry for your taste buds.
Amanda wasn't a fan of any of them. She is going to be fiercely loyal to her favorite, which is Tropical Sunset.
That one's also really good. Perfect tomato.
All right, so yeah, so if you could pick any of these other tomatoes to have another slice of right now, which one are you picking?
The cream of the crop. Okay, you can have another slice of that one. It's already sliced up, so maybe let's try that one again.
So this is your winner. What would your winner be, Steven?
Rutgers surprised me.
You want to do another slice of that one?
I would do another slice of the Rutgers.
So you ate the whole thing. You didn't let Dad have another slice.
Rutgers still just a very pleasant flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why that one has stuck around for a lot of years.
Ooh.
Okay, so today's winners of all the things that we've taste tested, things that you're going to move forward, things that you would be happy to see again.
So as I go through, I would for the big red and our one pink one here, the one that I would move ahead with for flavor would be Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
For the smaller cherry type, I would still
None of
stick
them.
with the Raspberry Drop. Amanda's like, yeah, none of them are as good. But it is very late in the season for those. They've been producing a long time. I would still take SuperSauce for flavor of a paste type of tomato.
Yeah, just based on taste today, SuperSauce has it. Zenzie and Pozzano productivity, I'm still loving those.
Yep, absolutely. And
in our shorter, smaller category,
so the RuBee Dawn was
surprisingly
good. I would still grow that one.
If you wanted a small saladette, the RuBee Dawn is good. And for that smaller determinate size tomato, cream of the crop beefy red had our flavor winner today. I think that was my favorite taste today.
Yep. Very good. So curious, as you are harvesting here towards the end of the season, what are your favorite tomatoes for flavor and productivity now that we're in September? Go ahead and post those down in the comments. If you liked what you saw today, please subscribe, share with your friends. Let us know what else you would like to see from us. And
we'll talk to you later.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye.